Hi, friends. It's Courtney here, and you are watching Cosmically Connected with me, your host, psychic medium Courtney Kane Sides, on this Forbidden Knowledge Network. And I'm so happy to be with you. Guys, tonight we're talking money. We're talking the stressors I've been seeing in some of my clients, and hopefully maybe some tips today to help you if you're feeling any of that stress. Maybe some tips to help ground you, ground your energy, and remind you what can be done, right? So many people right now are feeling stressed out about the things that they can't quite control, right? If you turn on that TV, you're talking to your friends very often right now, you're seeing and hearing possibly the hardships they might be having. Your heart might be going out to them. And I think that that is beautiful, beautiful. However, how to hold space for them, which without maybe allowing it to also get you enthralled in the grief and the scarcity mindset, which, by the way, we've all moved through at certain times in our life. You might be moving through that today, and you might have even seen that that was a pattern in your family history. So guys, I'm so grateful for you to be here. Thank you so much. If you can do me a favor, hit like, hit subscribe to this channel, and you can tune in here every Wednesday with me, your host, Courtney Kane Sides. Take a good deep breath in with me. Yes, take a big exhale out. Let's call on those guides and angels, and let's align our energy with the highest form. All right, so guides and angels on our right, guides and angels on our left, guides and angels in front, and guides and angels in back to balance and harmonize our time here, leaving us in the light and allow nothing but the highest, truest, or the best to manifest upon us now. If you're here, let me know where you're watching from or you're listening from. Yes, let me see it. Let me see in those comments, guys. I always love to see where you're listening, where you're connecting with me. It's something that I think does connect all of us when we see that there's other people in our areas that are actually like-minded, right? So do me another favor and make sure you share this video. It means the world to me. It's why we can all continue to keep doing what we're doing here on this channel. So let's see, Montreal, I see Houston, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania, can't speak. Atlanta, we've got Brisbane, Australia, we've got Malaysia, Oklahoma. I'm in Oklahoma, so I see you, my friend. Malawi, wow. Arizona, St. Lucia. I was just in St. Lucia some years ago. It's beautiful. Illinois, guys, thank you for being here. Jamaica, look at how many people all around the world are watching with us. I love it. Somebody's residing from New York City. Yes, New York City, Canada. Guys, thank you for being here. So I'm curious, give me an emoji if you feel as though, you have to take a breath in as I even say that, just to almost clear my own energy from the thought of having that stress about that money, right? How many people are being inundated? How many of you are watching the news? I encourage you to turn it off. I encourage you to turn it off. So much of the intent with that media is to get you into that state of fear. It's to get you into that state of scarcity and mindset to where it feels as though you're not going to win. And let me tell you, take a breath in, exhale that energy out. Take up your space of you, knowing you're enough and you're worthy, and that you don't have to connect to that energy, my friend. It's not yours. We've got somebody from California, Trinidad, Atlanta, Georgia. I love it. Lori Lee says, don't watch the news for so many years now. I love that, Lori. Thank you. Mina says, not since 2006. Waco, Texas, Chicago. I love it. Thank you, my friends. The reason tonight's podcast is happening is because I've seen so many clients this last week. You know, I see clients virtual, doing private sessions, group sessions, and also in person. And so many have come in here either because they're, you know, somebody in their home has moved through a position of losing a job, a career. I shared that on my page today, or actually a couple of days ago, about a longtime client, a friend, I call them now, of course, and their husband had lost their job. But I want to talk about what keeps us from actually asking for help, my friends, that they did not feel as though they wanted to share that. I understand that it doesn't always feel safe to share those deep personal situations that come up, especially when we feel as though one might be judging. Take a breath in with me, my friends. Big exhale out. That is also fear. That's also scarcity mindset, guys. It's not going to help us when we're applying for those positions or those, needing that next opportunity to come around, to also still stay in a fear of also not wanting to be seen, right? And so I said, you know what, let me share it. Let me send you some of those opportunities. Maybe some of my friends might know somebody. And so I encourage you, if you understand or know somebody that's struggling and is even afraid to ask for help, you may not be in a place of help. I always say have beautiful, beautiful boundaries with what you can and can't do, of course. We cannot deplete ourselves to help another. We must stay very strong and grounded in our own space and help everybody else learn to create those beautiful boundaries for themselves too, and so that they can then take action for them. I did that, and there were many things coming through. I text her, and she immediately said some of those positions that she was applying or that he was applying for came through that day. Those things that they were waiting on. They booked that session because they were so nervous. They had put through so many different applications for work and career. He had been there for many, many years, I think over 15 years of employment, and was immediately let go. So we can understand, take a breath in with me, my friends, that fear, what comes after. But I want you to understand that if you come back to that centered space of you and ask yourself, what can I do about this today? Is there an action that needs to be taken? Am I on the internet putting in my applications because I'm freaking out, crying, stressed out at home? That energy, by the way, that scatteredness, is what will find you when that position finds you. So I encourage you right now, if you're infusing your energy with the chaos of the economy, take a breath in. I encourage you to come back to that space of being held. If you watch this podcast, you've heard me so many times walk you through that, almost that meditative practice of finding that energy within you. Call it that bubble of protection, but that centered space where you can feel safe. Very often you'll hear me call that finding your own rhythm. And when you find that rhythm with every breath, my friends, it's going to take you back home to where right here, right now, we're perfectly taken care of. Something that I also witnessed here lately was this energy of coming from a place of yes. Coming from a place of yes when an opportunity knocks, and you, of course, let's be smart. Let's be mindful. So an opportunity that feels like dreamlike to you. Very often when you'll see great stressors like what's happening in the world around us, you will see that this can also be a beautiful time to create the degree of beautiful energy on the opposite end, right? Take a breath in. I feel that stress, right? Exhale it out. And very often, so many beautiful things are built during these times of wonder, during these times of should I create this? Should I be doing that? Should I say yes to this position? Should I say yes to this opportunity? If in this moment you breathe in, you connect back to your highest self, you're grounding your energy, you're calling on those guides and angels, you're praying about it, and it's still showing up, my friends, maybe it's time to say yes and not worry about what's on the opposite end of that, right? Maybe we don't worry about if this is not the exact perfect thing. Maybe it's the thing that's going to lead you on the path that's going to come before you, right? You've got Brussels, Belgium. We've got Yukon, Oklahoma. We've got Asheville, North Carolina. Thank you guys for watching. I so appreciate it. Black Wolf says, I am struggling with alcohol and tobacco and hating my job as a truck driver. Hi, Black Wolf. Well, it's interesting. That truck driving position is actually the position my friend's husband was in. And working and finding us, my friend. So definitely calling on support. My heart goes out to you, calling on support, calling on those that are working to better those different positions in their life, right? The alcohol, the tobacco. If that's not working for you, what are you going to do? It is up to you to make those changes. It is not easy, by the way. But sometimes these moments that feel like we're caving are moments that are going to help us find our highest form yet again. Mm, mm. It's an interesting thing to wake up in the morning. I asked you, Black Wolf, and so many of the rest of you, I'm curious, how many of you, and give me an emoji in the comments if you can relate to this, how many of you wake up and pick up your phone immediately? Not proud of it. I would definitely advise not to do that. How many of you are doing that? It's already like bruising. Let's call it that. It's like bruising our energy is first thing when we wake up. So if we're wanting to reshape our mind, Stephen's given the thumbs up. Yep. Precious says me. Jod says me. Kina raises her hand. Guys, I'm raising my hand with you. Let's all be honest about it, right? Lori says, alarm for my daughter to wake up for school. Yes, mine too. But as soon as that alarm goes off, guess what I'm doing? Not proud. So as I'm talking to you all guys, I'm talking to myself too. Black Wolf says, absolutely I do, but learn from Billy Carson that I shouldn't. That's right. So you're hearing it yet again. We all are, right? If our days aren't going the way that we want them, let's start to take, and by the way, I'm saying this again to myself, we all have things that we can always continue to keep rising, aligning, and bettering, my friends. And just because we're talking financial alignment or letting go of kind of that financial stress and stepping into our, groundedness within that energy, whatever topic you want to talk about, throw it into this topic right here. What I'm telling you is this is how we align back to us. It's less about fixing the thing as much as it is realigning and finding the worthiness within. And aren't we all worthy of taking space for ourselves? Precious says, I woke up, lit up a cigarette, then look at social media. Yeah, is it serving you? So no judgment if any of this, by the way, just ask yourself, is this serving me? Is this aligning with the abundance in the day that I'm wanting to connect with, right? So if you're watching that TV, if you're waking up, you're turning on that TV, you're starting to scroll through that feed, you're seeing the stressors of everybody else in that on social media, take a breath and you can do something about that. You can do something about your own energy. We can start to set the day with a higher form of energy. Even if it's taking 2 minutes, it doesn't have to be 5, doesn't have to be 10, doesn't have to be 20 minutes of meditation or prayer. But how about a moment of regrouping and connecting to you, your highest self, and visualizing the way that you see your day, your finances, your life aligning. Think about if you give yourself just that bit of time, the way that your day could go. S. Tolver said, you can't solve your problems with the same mind that created the problem. That's why we need space to heal. I agree, my friend. We need space to feel and to heal, to find ourselves. and to ground within that energy to rediscover our true energy and nature, right? And very often, many of us are just repeating patterns and scarcity mindsets that we've seen in our families forever, for our lifetime, right? JYU says, I would like to share an abundance advice I've read about yesterday. It consists it consists at determine how do we feel when we spend money and open our wallet. Ooh, I like that. That's so right. Then say, I give grace to receive back what I've spend times 10 now. Thank you. I've also seen that. I actually, every time a bill rolls out, most of us don't even pay bills like we used to, right? Those bills are automatically paid. Listen, when that auto payment comes through, I remember being a single mother. How many of you can relate to this? Give me an emoji if you can hear me, if you understand this. But how many of you were even afraid for a while to put bills on auto pay because you just weren't quite sure? Everybody take a good deep breath in with me. Show gratitude for the awareness of maybe how far you've come, right? Thank you for the awareness that is mine. Thank you for being a teacher on my path, asking nothing but the highest, truest, or the best to manifest upon me now. It is about mindset. And how do you feel when you're paying? I'm so grateful for my housekeeper, guys. Oh my gosh, I'm a mother. I'm running around, with creating my business, podcast, writing, all the things, sessions. And I have an amazing housekeeper. I love her so much. And every time I write that check, there was a moment when I was like, ooh, do I deserve this? Think about that when you're writing those checks. Do I deserve this? Am I feeling guilty? Should I be doing this myself? Should I? Take a breath, let it go. When I do that, it also employs my friend who is self-employed and has a beautiful cleaning company and is so happy to be able to do that. She brings her daughter occasionally. She does an amazing job, right? So when I write that check, I take a breath and I really collect my energy and I show gratitude as I'm writing that. And I lay that there for her, and it's her energy. It's also receiving. Let's think about it this way. The energy I'm putting into it as I'm writing or paying the bill, the thing, my intention for her to receive it is for it to feel as though it's abundant for her, that it's not going to her with scarcity energy, guys. What about that? That just hit me like boom. What about that? What is your intention after you pay that bill, right? I opened my credit a couple of days ago and saw that, this was down to this or this was down to this. And I was like, ooh, that feels good, right? Didn't always feel like that. If you look at the overall things in life that you're pain, you might be overwhelmed. I get it. But every day, are you showing up in the way that you can show up? Something lately that's been helping me also is saying yes. How many of you, when an opportunity arises, do you first think you want the opportunity? You dream of the opportunity. Think about it. Take a long, hard thought here. But when it arises, do you say, yeah, but I mean, it needs to be on this day or that day? Well, yeah, but are you already making conditions to the blessing that's showing up for you? Or are you just saying, yes, okay, fine, let's do it? What's crazy is the more that I'm saying yes, the more opportunities are coming in without just with allowing me to be living within that breath and understanding that as the checks are written or as those bills are paid, as I'm turning my head away from the stressors of the economy, when I put gas in my car, when I'm buying groceries, when I'm doing all of those things, and I'm connecting back to myself, knowing that every day I'm showing up with love, with heart, with intent, and doing the things I need to do that I know, I'm coming back to that faith, to that hope, that it's all going to work out for me. And my friends, it always has. I'm telling you, it always will. Why is sometimes these hard times, some people really grow and get really, they become almost even more successful. They are able to expand, right? And then some, it just goes right into their narrative of the way it always been. Everybody take a good deep breath in with me. Big exhale out. When we exhale, we're showing gratitude for that information, but we're not holding on to any of that within our own energy, okay? Yeah. Black Wolf says, I know now this is about money. So with that logic, I wish I could have the money for a housekeeper as well as other luxuries. However, I know I blow my money on booze and tobacco. It hurts. Listen, Black Wolf, I've been there, done that. How many of you have been Black Wolf? Take a breath in, showing gratitude for the mirror, because Black Wolf been there, done that. Let's show gratitude. I want you to understand that with allowing new energy to come into your life, those things will change. It might feel slower than you'd like them to be, but I'm telling you, it will change. There was a man, I want to use this as an example. It's not about money, but it's about the energy. I was having a conversation with Ethan, my fiance, was picking up my daughter. School's just started. I'm there around the corner by the school, ready to pick up my child, and this man comes out. There's a sign telling the cars don't go past this point. Another parent has warned me about this man, and so I'm like, okay, I'm prepared, taking the breath, letting that go, not worried about anything. And I'm sitting there in my appropriate spot, seeing other parents pull up where she has told me not to pull up. And this man, he seems to be a retired man. He comes out of the house. He's got the garage door already up. And before the school's out, he's out there working in his garage, and he's standing there and he's looking. And I'm on speakerphone or on the phone with Ethan, and just witnessing this. And you can see his face is getting red. He's already anticipating the issue, right? There's a sign in his yard that says, do not walk on my grass, all the things. And I'm sitting there watching this, showing gratitude for the mirror that this is that I'm seeing, because these mirrors we see, these stories we hear, these reflections we see in the world around us is, by the way, a message for us. Yes, it's a message for us and where we place our energy. Show gratitude for everything that life is showing us, I'm telling you. And ask yourself, what am I looking for? What do I expect to keep showing up for me, right? So as those children come around the corner, you can see the parents parking all along, and he starts walking up to the windows, knocking on the parents' windows, telling them they need to move 3 or 4 vehicles. And I'm just sitting there, and I really didn't even notice the sign, and I was parked right in front of it, so I'm having a front row view to this situation. And as they came walking through, this man looked like he was going to have a heart attack. He was very, very upset, very angry, right? And let me tell you, that day the man got what he was looking for. And I told my person this, Ethan, I was like, he knew he was going to get mad. He knew he was going to get upset. I'm sure all day long, I'm sure all summer long, he was beautiful. He had a summer without it. And then he knew come August, it was going to start, right? Everybody take a good deep breath in. Show gratitude for those things that are popping up for you. What are the things you've been searching for? What are those trials that have been popping up for you? Do we need to move? Do we need to sell our house? Do we need to change our location? Yes, protect our energy. But the poor man could possibly change that. What if he went out there? Billy S. said, manifesting misery. That's right. And I'm sure he was a beautiful man. I'm sure he had, but he was looking for it. So every day since school started, today I pulled up and the garage door was shut. His truck was there. I'm watching. But he never came out, and I was kind of proud of him. He doesn't know who I am. I was breathing beautiful energy his way. But I want to ask you, what are you looking for? What are you participating with? What are you expecting to show up for you? And how can you take responsibility and realign your energy without judgment of where you are, by the way? So I want to go back to my friend, our friend. What was his name? What is it? Where are you? Black Wolf. Listen, we're all one. Been there, judged, or been there, done that. I almost said been there, judged that. And yes, that's probably it too. Been there, judged that, right? Been there, done that. We do it until it doesn't serve us anymore. And when it doesn't, you can show gratitude and share your story about how you move through it. And my friends, when people say, what's my purpose? That's your purpose. It's for us to learn these moments and frustrations that only are frustrations for us. Learn to solve them, learn to take accountability, learn to reflect what worked for us and keep it moving. And when I say keep it moving, maybe keep learning how to center our energy, come back to our highest form, and understand too that we're all worthy of this beautiful, abundant energy that is there truly at our fingertips. It really is. And when we start showing up without any attachment on how it's going to find us, this, in this case, this evening, financial relief, understanding that again, when you pay those bills, that it will find you. Precious says, how? How? I want you to start with a little thing. Start with how you pay that one particular bill that freaks you out. I remember having that insurance, guys. How many of you had that one bill that it was so hard and painful to pay? For me, when I was, I want to say younger, if I was still having to write the check, it would probably still be as painful. But I remember paying it late constantly because I was annoyed with it, right? Felt like paying for air. I couldn't see the tangible effect as to why it was there, right? And so that thing that causes the biggest frustration as far as financially in your life, and I'm talking about it, you don't have to think about the debt overall, my friend. But what can you do with that one thing? Think of one thing, start small. Dr. Strange says, not so hard to pay after you have been homeless before. There you go. What a reflection. Thank you for that. That's right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Abundance finds me in all forms. When you stop, my friends, and take a deep breath in, Precious said, how? Come back to where you are. And if you have to just ground your energy right here, right now, right here, I'm fed. I have electricity, which means I have light. I remember as a single mother praying the electricity was on as I pulled in, right? I remember that. Scraping money by to feed my little one. I remember, right? Being too proud to ask for help, to allow help, anything. How many of you have done that, right? And so if you've moved through life's struggle so far, and here yet again, you've conquered so many things. If all you can do is to come back right here, right now, and you are fed and you are loved, and you understand that this too shall pass, that, my friend, is how. If you're wanting to build, start saying that out loud. Start watching those meditations, those prayers that you're putting into existence, the energy of when you are paying those things again. Are you saving a little bit? Are you putting some money back? If that's a struggle, grab an envelope and put some money in it. What can you do to take action? This is something also that hit many years ago. And I think about this sometimes. It was, I was still doing this work. It was probably 7 years ago. I was asked to do this retreat in Maui. It was not a paid speaking retreat, but it was essentially a paid trip to Maui. And I had to get there. And I did not really have that extra money to do that. And I spoke with my friend who was putting on this beautiful retreat, and she really couldn't afford to do that. Very proud of her. This retreat was amazing. And she said, Courtney, everybody that comes to the retreat is going to want private sessions with you. She said, I'll put that out there, we'll share it, and people will book sessions. And I didn't even think about that. It didn't even cross my mind that that was a possibility. So I ask you, what value can you present today that could lead? What value, not that somebody else can do, but what value can you bring today that could bring a higher sense of energy back to you in the form of a financial relief or happiness that then could maybe create space for you to do something new, to have a new idea pop in so that you can take action and build something beautiful, right? That trip was beautiful. I had well more than enough and came home making wonderful money from that retreat and having that experience, right? To be able to go all over the place. And I've been speaking for many years and speaking at retreats, and that was a beautiful experience. What a value. But if I hadn't if I wasn't honest with my friend about, I would love to do that, but I really don't know how I could do that right now. As soon as I said it, she didn't have the scarcity mindset I did. My friends, take a breath in. Do you have a friend, a contact that sees money differently, that it comes easy to them? Get out of your pride and maybe have a conversation. Maybe they see something in you, or they're doing something, restructuring something in their own life that can help. Right? When she said that, that didn't just help me in that one situation. That has helped me in so many different situations when this was going on and this was going on. So I did a workshop or I did this. I mean, the abundance that honesty in that moment brought to my life was huge. And again, when we're creating something, my friends, and this goes out to you entrepreneurs, my business has been built by word of mouth. I have not put tons of money into so many different things like many people do, but opportunities come through and then somehow here you are yet again, right? It's true. Take a breath in, exhale it out. Sometimes you don't have to see how it's going to get done, but you can align your own energy with your highest form. What I do believe is that I do believe that our healing, the healing that we're prepared to do and we're willing to do, is equivalent to that financial and joyful gain that we'll receive. Now, let me say that again. The healing, the measure of healing and depth we're willing to go is and will be equivalent to the rise of the abundance you will find and the joy you will gain, the financial abundance you will gain in this life. I'm telling you. Who knows millionaires or rich people who are so miserable? Ew. Now I hear people, well, I'd rather be rich and unhappy than poor and unhappy. Yeah, but I'd rather find joy in my life, period. And when you heal all of those things, those wounds, those money wounds, and you start to really watch even the crowd you're hanging around, the books you're reading, the music you're reading, the TV you're watching, the energy you're scrolling through, where you're putting your energy. It's time for us to take accountability and responsibility for what we are bringing to the table, right? And that goes for every one of us, all of us. So what are we expecting to show up? Are we expecting the same nonsense every day, the frustration every day, the kids walking around to ruin the yard every day, right? Or are we expecting, I've said this for many years, those of you who listened and have been listening for now, I can't believe we've been doing this for 3 years, this podcast. Abundance finds me in all forms. You can be specific and say financial abundance finds me in all forms. Speak up and keep adding value in the way that you can. And I'm telling others will bring value to you. They will. You don't have to understand how, but they will. Praise 7 says, thank you for the knowledge you share with us all, Courtney. Oh, thank you, my friend. I love it. I love it. I love reading through your comments, my friends. Precious says, ever since I started watching Forbidden Knowledge, everything I've learned, everything, I just can't seem to utilize the knowledge wisely. Listen, Precious, let's take a breath in. It takes time. I think it's a life's work. I don't want any of us, and that goes for any of us, to feel as though we're behind the gun, right? Um, what's the word? That we're late to the game, or that we're behind. Period. Right? We're having the experiences we're supposed to be having, and when we stop judging where we're supposed to be and start working on our energy, you will start to see changes. Now, I remember making moves and feeling like, remember when everybody was talking about the hustling. It was big Gary V. This was probably 7 years ago. And go through the hustle. And that's great. It'll work for a little bit until you get burned out and it doesn't work for you anymore. That's why your energy around all of this is so vital and important. Thank you, Ethan, for telling everybody to like and share. Yes, guys, like and share this podcast. It means the world to me and everybody else here. That's how we keep going, by the way. Um, Billy says ups and downs, no matter how enlightened you are. That is absolutely correct. And just like this economy, it's going to come back up. Where's your mindset going to be when it does? So are you going to be further along on your path, or are you only going to be happy on the uprise? Can you find happy today? Can you find happy now? And I don't think that you ignoring the media is you ignoring the truth of what's happening around, society. I don't believe that at all. I think that you're taking care of your energy. You're taking care of you. It is very important for you to make sure that also, hello, if you're at a place where you're making very, very poor choices, it is time, if you cannot afford somebody to help, find a friend who's got their financial game together and say, hey, I'll make you dinner. And if you can't make them dinner, say, I'll watch your kid for you. If you can't do that, see what value you can add to their life and ask them if they are willing to add this value to yours. I believe that sometimes it's our pride. By the way, that was me. Couldn't ask for help, couldn't allow anybody to help, had to do it on my own. And that doesn't serve us, by the way. When we let go of shame and judgment and we forgive ourselves for choices and having to sometimes learn the hard way. How many of you have had to learn the hard way through certain situations? Me, raise your hand if that's you. Sometimes we just do. I could give you a whole long list of why I could beat myself up about choices in life. But I never would, because I would never be me today. I would definitely not be here with you, right? Wouldn't have happened. So what's the magical thing that's happening in your everyday life that you can show gratitude for? And you learning to navigate through this particularly difficult time that many are finding themselves in financially. Where are you putting your mind? What can you do? What can we get up and do and take accountability for? Do you need to have a garage sale? Do you have tons of stuff in your house and you keep buying this junk that you don't need? Handle it. My father would say, who's in charge? You're in charge. Figure it out and handle it. Ocean Breaths says, I'm angry and sad and don't know how to let go. I think sometimes we have to be angry and sad and let it out. Very often we're not given the space to feel that, and we shove it down, we eat it, we drink it away, we numb it away, we smoke it away, all the things. And if we can heal that, if we can feel it and trust that we're going to take the positive steps to keep moving through it, It's going to happen. Sometimes we have to, again, reach out and ask for help. Sometimes we need professional help. A really good therapist, somebody who can help you work through that, doesn't keep you in the spin of it. I don't like all therapy, but the therapist that can help you really dig into it to get you to at least say, ooh, that's it, and then move through. Private sessions with myself, finding any type of healer that can help you break into it, step out of it, and find you yet again. That's what you're looking for. And by the way, that is moment by moment that we have to keep coming back to that. Mm. Billy says, got to love how universal wisdom is gained by hard times. Something I say all the time is when it's about to get hard, I know it's about to get good. Doesn't mean we have to like it. I just know, like I know from looking at the past in my life, anything that is difficult and hard, those traumas, those energies, I've been able to do it sometimes through gritted teeth, right? Take a breath in with me, everybody. When you feel it in your body, breathe it in, full 4 count. Exhale that energy out. I filter that awareness and I come back to my highest form moment by moment within that exhale. The only way I know how to go up is go down and go in, and that's spirituality for me. It's your breath. And guys, you were born with it. But if you find you're moving through a really hard time where it's time to ask for help, don't be afraid to ask for help. Again, financial advisor, healers, sessions, any of these things, anything that can help you do that work. And also, by the way, watch your budgeting, the B word. Nobody likes that B word. Go through. Do you have too many things that are subscriptions that how many of you have gone through and wiped all that stuff out here and there? Go through and do a clean out. Get really strict with yourself the way you would if you were a 17 or 18-year-old and you were telling your child what to do. Talk to yourself and handle yourself like that. If you need some come to Jesus energy, let's have this be the time to do it. But only you can take the responsibility. We can't do the things and then cry about the thing in the next second. And we can't pray and hope that it's going to change. You're the one that's going to have to change it by showing up and energetically healing through it and knowing and still hoping and having that prayer and faith that the energy is going to shift and change, because it will. And I know in my experience, when I do that, it's, oh my gosh, always 10 times better. The lesson's more beautiful. And it's not just a financial gain or external somethings. It's an internal knowing that I showed up. And guys, nobody can give that to you. Nobody can give that to you. So these are the times right now you need to be journaling those frustrations, but what's the solution, and how are you, not how is somebody else going to fix it for you, but how are you going to show up for you? Are you getting up and working out and taking care of yourself? No, get up, show up. Are you frustrated? What are we going to do about it? Let's figure it out. Because you're the only one that can. Nobody can do it for you. You can have as many sessions, healers touch you, energetic blocks uncovered, whatever. But if you still keep jumping up and getting up every day, choosing the same thing. Listen, one of my favorite quantum physics quotes, you guys have heard me say it over and over. Nothing changes if nothing changes. You got this. Ivana says a coach is also a great place because they motivate you to step into the goals. That's right. Find the solutions. I love that. Billy S. says, I give thanks to every stumbling block. I know I'm about to be blessed. Yes. So that's the thing. Some people are going to see those kids walking on my grass. Blah, blah, blah. What if he handed them a cute little, some people might think that's weird. Now people are, seeing in different ways. But what if he said, hey, welcome to I hope you love your first day of school. Or, what if there was kindness being addressed? What if you taught kindness about walking? What if there was a softer way to express that, right? I'm sure he could get creative. I'm sure he could do something. Showing those kids something different, right? Andrew says, I feel like everything I do, I F it up. I don't try. Oh, I lost it. Where'd it go? One moment. I don't try to screw anyone over, Andrew, my friend. I'm here with you. Let's all breathe through Andrew and send Andrew beautiful energy. I want you to no longer associate with that being within your energy, right? It's like an energy of saying, oh, that's always the way it is for me, and keeping that energy there. Every time we say and express it, we're almost claiming that upon us, right? So I'd be finding what's the solution to that, right? Everything I touch raises an energy. Everything I touch, or listen, abundance finds me in all forms. I'm choosing to raise the energy in this situation. Find the affirmation or something to that effect that is the opposite of that right there for you, and start to make that your mantra. When we expect it to go to the negative, it will show us that that's, I mean, we're essentially ordering that from the universe. It took a long time to understand that. But listen to this too, my friends. When opportunities are rising or they're coming to you, you heard me earlier say that I wouldn't accept help from anybody. I had to do it myself. I'm very prideful, very, right? And coming from a place of yes does not feel still very comfortable. Even Ethan, my fiance, has to say, Courtney, you got to say yes. There were a couple of opportunities when I was in Detroit at a Forbidden Knowledge event speaking. And Elizabeth called me right before and called and said, hey, why don't blah, blah, whatever it was, telling me and offering something. I was like, my first gut was like, I'm not so sure, and coming down with the whys or the why it could not maybe or whatever. And as soon as I caught it, I was like, stop. I think I even hung up the phone with her. That was my stance. And then I called her back and said, you know what? Scratch all of that. I took a breath in and I said, yes, let's do that. Let's do it. It's great. But so when you catch yourself, I want you to stop and show gratitude for the awareness that is yours, because at least you're catching yourself doing the thing that you always did. And that thing we've always done is not what's going to serve you today in your energy and today in this experience. Most of the world, guys, they're watching the news. They're sitting in this economy. They're sitting in the woes and the stressors and all of it, right? Take a breath in. Exhale that energy out. It's not serving us. So how are we going to show up for us and transcend that energy? How are we going to shift it into something different? By the time they work through all that junk, if you're doing your work, if you're doing your homework, by the way, I'm pointing. When I point, guides and angels are saying, listen, listen, listen. By the time you move through this, you're going to expand. That doesn't mean things are perfect necessarily. It means just that when things break, when things are hard, when we, there's got to be some work in it and some elbow grease, means we got to take a breath, show up, do it, but it's going to go boo boo again. It's going to expand yet again. Ethan says, just take it one step at a time, not as hard as it seems. That's right. You might still respond the way you've always responded, but as soon as you catch yourself choosing the solution-based something and the energetic alignment with your highest self, show gratitude, because I'm telling you, your highest self is saying, oh my gosh, look at how they operated. They didn't go pick up the cigarette that moment. They didn't go pick up the beer. They didn't go to the casino. They didn't go shopping, right? They didn't go buy a bunch of junk they didn't need because they're trying to fill some void of worthiness. I understand that. I remember doing that. I remember. That's not where our worthiness comes. It comes from us feeling centered within ourselves. And that's actually what we're looking for, my friends. It is. Billy S says, be still, center yourself, and know that you are good. Then walk in your power. Thank you, my friend. That's right. And Dr. Strange says, you accomplish only what you care about. So interesting. Lori Lee. I was thinking about this earlier, and this is not always an easy thing. She says, how we do one thing is how we do everything. It's true. And not always an easy understanding, right? So do we do it in love? Do we do it from point A to Z? And that's a hard one for me, right? I'm a multitasker that goes from this direction and that direction. So that's a good one. What do we need to work on there, my friends? I'm pointing to myself, by the way. Thank you, Lori. Ethan says, speaking it into existence. And Lori Lee says, suddenly, that's right. That is, for me, the first time I heard that was from Tim Story, who we love Tim. I have always, and for many, many years said, abundance finds us in all forms, that whole thing. And now I'm under the habit of saying suddenly, right? And so if we want to be specific, say financial abundance finds us in all forms, right? We can expect it. So things you can do. Be mindful if you're freaking the hell out about, yes, said economy, about the groceries, about all the things that are happening. You're seeing friends having issues. Reach out, supply, the care, the offer, the value the way you can, and allow them to offer value to you where they can, right? It's currency, my friends. It's energy. When we do that, you're going to see more abundance come back to you every time. And to me, it also is, like we were speaking earlier, the way that you pay those things. Are we like, oh man, the grind, are we putting that energy into it, or are we excited because that's there, that we have the ability to pay the taxes? And maybe when we didn't so long ago, did we have the ability to pay that car payment? And maybe it's a higher car payment than you've ever been used to, but you show up and you're able to do that. And it's also on auto pay. I know that sounds so crazy to some of you friends, but it's big. It's big. And if you're struggling with it, show gratitude for all of those little things, right? Connect to that breath, that inner knowing, that inner barometer of you. So many of you still don't do that. So when you're having a moment like the old man and you're like frustrated about this person or driving or the coworker or your kiddo or whatever, and you notice it, take a breath in and ask yourself, what am I looking for? This healing work is humbling, my friends. It's humbling. What are we looking for? And stay connected. Of course, grounding, we talk about that, I swear, every podcast. Balance routine. Let's not pick up those phones. Let's not check those balance when we're freaking out. Let's check it and breathe in before we get on there. Maybe even watch that tenseness within your body when you open your bank account and you're nervous about it and you're like, oh, and watch your energy, take a breath in, show gratitude, call on that. Yes, financial abundance finds me in all forms. Allow it to be so. Visualize those numbers on that screen and open that account up. And when it says not the number that you see, I want you to still show gratitude because you can see it growing into that space. Yes, it feels crazy. Yes, it feels like you're wishful thinking. Yes, it feels like you're making stuff up, but the universe has no idea which energy is true. It's energy. So put the highest form of financial abundance out there and see what happens. Be a skeptic and see how it shows up. Right? Take care of yourself, the journaling, the reflection. If you're finding that there is a certain annoyance that's popping up over and over, and once you notice that that's the thing that usually gets you every time, try to find a solution towards that thing that you can do, not that somebody else can do, but what can you do to add support in that way? Because these things are for us to heal. Got it? Watching what you're putting your mind into, again, that music, that media. Are you watching things like that, that are encouraging you, that are helping you set your energy straight, that are helping you connect to something that's going to bring a solution-based something into your life? Be careful with that, right? Again, get into that budgeting or even the manifestation. Start to something that Elizabeth, she even said it the other day. She works backwards. We had a meeting last week. Really cool things happening. Can't wait to share some of those with you. But she likes the big picture. Likes the big picture. What is the massive goal, the thing that feels like would be incredible, right? That we would be like, oh my gosh, that's the thing. And how to work back from that. So think of that in terms of budgeting, or think in terms of that as far as like growing. How could you get there? How can you get there? And it might feel so outlandish to you right now, but that's okay. So work backwards. And then once you do that, take a breath in, my friends, breathe it out into the universe, and then take that first step. From that bottom, take the first step and show up and see what happens. I think you'd be shocked. My last thing, my friends, is giving. Where can you give? Where can you give? Where can you add value? Lori Lee says writing things down really served so much. I love it. Yeah, where can you give? Where can you add the value? Where can you show up? And that could be joy, love, heart. What's funny is it's not, doesn't even mean that it's of like a, like you're purchasing something and you're giving somebody something. That's not what I'm talking about. Ethan and I went to a movie last Sunday, and we just we were waiting for the movie to start. We walked into a shoe store, and we walked in, and the woman looked up. She kind of looked frazzled, and she said, essentially, how are you? You guys good? Thank you, Ethan. Super sticker. I appreciate it. Thanks, babe. Thank you, guys. All of those always help. That's right. But when we walked into the store, you could tell she was frazzled. Bless her heart. And I turned and she said, how are you? And I said, good. And I looked at her, and she kind of gave me like the low brow. And I said, how are you? And she said, kind of a grr, not really, but essentially all the words that she said was essentially like a grr. And I said, well, anything we can do to help? You want me to jump behind that? I've been a cashier. I've worked in retail before. And she was like, no. But she was super sweet. I could see underneath all of that. I thought she was super sweet, but just was being real. And we walked around, didn't buy anything, but we looked at some shoes. And as we were walking out, I turned around to look. We were just kind to her. She was sweet. She might not have thought anything about it, but as we were walking out, I turned around to look. I was going to say something else, and Ethan knows me so well. And as we were walking out, and I looked, and she didn't say anything. I kind of walked out and was like, and he said, she didn't see you, huh? Which was super cute. But as I sit here and think about this, guys, even that, adding some sort of value in conversation when somebody's in a moment of just support, and however they take it, fine. But that's a way that I try to bring, I don't want to say the word try, that's a way that I bring connection to my moments. And sometimes I'm awkward about it. Sometimes I feel like I say too much. It doesn't matter. Just be the weird one that compliments people, that shows up and sees the solution, that shows up and sees the positive thing. Let's not be the one screaming at people for being on the grass. Okay? Let's show up with heart-centered energy. And when we do that, if we think that that doesn't correlate in financial abundance or abundance on all forms, friends, we're missing the mark. So when we're ticked off and we're complaining, take a breath in, about that financial load, stress, the economy, all of the things. How are you showing up in your life? Are you showing up in lack because everything stinks and all of the things, right? Or are you showing up in value and heart and joy? Think about it. You step into that, and my friends, watch your world change. I love it. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I love you all, always do. We will be here next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central. If you have loved this podcast, if you have a friend that needs to hear it, do me a favor. Send this to them, comment, share this on your social media pages. It means the world to me. It allows me to continue to always show up and keep doing what I do, sharing with you my heart, my soul, and I pray that that's exactly what you guys go do too. As you show up every day in your life, you're connecting in the way that only you can, and you just see what comes through, my friend. Do me a favor too, and if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, and go to my own personal YouTube page, Cosmically Connected with Courtney Kane Sides, and subscribe there. And I will see you over on Instagram, guys. I love you so much, and I'll see you next week.